Could you give me your best definition of sexual orientation?
Another continuum of how people identify themselves based on like who they're attracted to.
I guess sexual orientation is who or what you like.
The identification of someone's sexuality, however they choose it to be.
Could you name some sexual orientations off the top of your head?
Heterosexual,
Homosexual,
Pansexual,
there's bi.
asexual.
What is the biblical view of sexual orientation?
It's heterosexuality. God created man and woman to be complementary of each other.
Do you think that having many different sexual orientations is good for a society or bad for a society?
I think it can be good because it only improves the acceptance of people who identify however they want.
Is definitely good going forward.
Psychologically, having more choices gives you the option to freely associate yourself with whatever you want to be.
It's bad for the individual. It's bad for the culture at large. We think that somehow we know better than God knows about how we should conduct our lives. You have to assume that He always knows what is best for us because He created all things. He knows all things. He knows us exhaustively. We think we know ourselves, but we don't.
Pedophilia and bestiality. If love is love, how can we criticize or condemn it?
When you harm other people through your attractions, then I don't think that's love.
Both of those acts would be rape because the sex is happening without true consent.
How would you respond to the assertion that people make that love is love and you can't say anything different?
People usually throw that kind of assertion around in order to justify what they want to do. And usually what they want to do is going to be sin. So they want to identify it as a loving act. And there is a sense in which, from a biblical perspective, that's true. It is loving, but it's not loving of other people. It's loving of self. And that becomes the really core problem with sin. It's this deep love of self.
Besides using the Bible, does the Christian worldview have any other sources of authority to claim that sex should only be between a man and a woman?
From a natural law point of view, male organs were made a certain way, female organs were made a certain way. Anything that goes beyond that is an unnatural thing. It's impossible for a same-sex relationship to reproduce in order to continue the human race.
Why is pedophilia wrong?
It's creepy.
It harms a person, and in that case, it is a child.
Like, that's a minor, and a minor cannot give consent.
Might not always be creepy. If I asked this question here, same campus, 50 years ago about homosexuality, I bet someone would have said, that's creepy. What if it's not creepy anymore? Would it be acceptable?
So I don't know if that'll ever change, but if it does, I'm open-minded.
So what if someone said that that's how they were born, that was their identification, that's their orientation? Like, how would you respond to someone who might say that to you?
I would say that they can identify as that in their head, internally, but externally, I wouldn't want them to act upon that if it harms.
Do you think the world can actually condemn pedophilia as an abhorrent form of sexuality?
In the world today, it's becoming more and more difficult to do that because the same arguments that were used for homosexuality is now being used for pedophilia, that people are born this way, and they're not born this way. This is something that's elective. God designed a man to satisfy a woman and a woman to satisfy a man. That's what God intended from the beginning. But now sex is twisted, as Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 3 says, into greed. In fact, at the core of all sexual sin is covetousness or greed. And that is, what can I get out of this for myself? That is an intensely covetous view of sexuality. And God knows man's heart. When he gives into that covetousness, then he gets sucked into it more and more, where now my whole life becomes, I must gratify myself. That is a self-destructive philosophy of life.